Previously, I made a video showing how you could use texture painting and stencil your decals onto your model. And this works great. It's a fantastic way of adding decals to a model. However, some of you were having some issues with distorted decals, especially when you were using a curved surface like this, I'll call it a helmet, and circular decals. And so I'll show you another method that you may or may not already know, which is using just the Shrinkwrap modifier. One of the issues we're going to have with the Shrinkwrap modifier is we'll have to increase the poly count to subdivide the decal quite a bit, but we should get less or almost no distortion of the decal, and it's a great way of doing things as well. So of course we're going to have to start with a model, so let's make that. Alright, here we have a model similar to the last one. Looks a little bit like a football helmet or a space helmet, something like that. So we're going to use this. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into the shading editor. Now let's make a material for this object. So I'll click new here. I'll call it helmet. And I'll come down here and I'll just change some colors up. 0.2 for roughness and maybe 0.5 for clear coat, and we'll go with something like that. Okay, so we are ready to apply our decal now. I don't have to UV unwrap this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come into the object in vertex selection, that's number one. I'm going to choose an area, maybe right around there, that I want to put my decal. I will be mirroring it to the other side, but so just choose that. Shift S, cursor selected. I'll bring my 3D cursor right there. In order to do this method, you'll need the add-on images as planes. Okay, import images as planes. Just check that there. It comes with Blender. Just make sure it's active, and I'll go Shift A, and I'll come down to images as planes, and navigate to where your decal is. You want to use a PNG, preferably a good quality, high resolution PNG. Okay, so I have that. I'm going to look from the front. I'll go into edit mode, and I'm just going to rotate this and get a sense of where it's going to go, like that. Okay, now this happens to be a relatively square decal, so that could work well right off the bat. But otherwise, what you want to do essentially is you want to subdivide this so that it can lay along the surface nicely. So I'm going to select it in edit mode and press subdivide, and I'll bring this up, and I'm just going to start adding subdivisions or cuts. I'm going to come all the way up to 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 actually. I'm going to go to the max there. I can override this by typing a number, but I'm going to go for 10. Alright, so I have my decal there, keeping in mind that my decal is going to have its own material different from the helmet. I'm just going to pull that out. When I do that, of course, bring in the images as planes, it creates this node setup. See, this is radioactive 1. This is not the helmet material. This is a different material here. All right, so I can actually go ahead and put in some of the same values that I used before. I can't quite remember what they were. 0.2 for the roughness and 0.5 for clear coat. So I'll do that. Okay, so we have our decal here, and we want to apply it. So I'm going to come to the modifiers, add modifier, shrink wrap, and over here for the target, I'm going to choose the helmet. It looks like it's somewhat disappeared, so I'm going to change a couple of things here. First of all, the offset, I'm going to put 0.001. and it pops out. It's a little bit distorted here. I'm going to choose target normal, and let's just leave it like that. So there it is. I will mirror this, and I'll choose the helmet. It is symmetrical. And so now I've got that decal on there. It looks pretty good. If you're having trouble getting your decals onto a curved surface, this may work better for you. All right, so I just wanted to show you that's two ways now to apply our decals, using texture paint and stenciling them on, and using shrink wrap and putting them directly on the model that way. It's two different objects. And now, of course, we have different materials. So if we wanted to add grunge or whatever, and we're not using other add-ons, or we're not using, Substance Paint or a separate program, we'd come into our object, and we do that here for the main body, and then the decal itself. And I can show you a little bit of that in a future video.